Changing minds one thought at a time.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Changing Minds Online Empowering Women series. Good evening, Akina. How are you tonight?
I am great. I am sitting here in my room in San Francisco looking at the beautiful skyline and waiting for Carousel Summit to start. How about you, Jessica?
You know, I am also traveling as well. I am in Dallas. am at my convention for my health and wellness company, learning and amazing new things, interacting with some amazing people and leaders, really committed to success. So it is awesome. And, you know, I just want to point out before we start our call tonight, and it's really just so powerful that it landed on this topic about creating our future and really just creating our life by design. And it's amazing that as an entrepreneur that you get to create your life however you want it to be and look like. And it's just so phenomenal. You know, so many people, they go to work from 9 to 5, they show up to a job, and they never really get to live the life that they want. And, you know, look at us, like, it's amazing that we get to really just create life on our own terms. We can work from wherever we want, however we want. It's so wonderful and so powerful, and we want that for all of our guests and all of our listeners. We just are so excited to help you have that freedom that we have now, and it's really about being intentional and really creating your life, not by chance, but really by taking action. And that's what we're going to be talking about on our call tonight. We have an amazing woman who, just like us, she's a speaker, she's an author, she's a coach. She's someone who also, she retired from the fashion industry. You know, many of you know, I also retired from my career earlier, in 2015, less than a year ago. So it is just so powerful when you take a chance on yourself and you just step out in faith, knowing you get to create your life by design. And that's what this amazing woman is doing, who's going to be teaching us tonight. You know, powerful woman who's replicated a six-figure income right away as an entrepreneur. So it's really a privilege and honor to bring Bree Seely on the call and learn from her tonight. She is an inspirational woman, amazing, amazing leader. Bree, it's amazing and an honor to have you on the call tonight.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is our privilege and pleasure. So, Bree, you know, you had said that you promised us 3 tips for creating and embodying our remarkable future. And I am just, first of all, I want you to give our listeners, and now obviously I know a little bit about your story, but, what was it that you decided, I'm going to be a full-time entrepreneur, I'm going to ditch this job that I have, and I'm going to take out and I'm going to live my life the way I want to live?
I mean, I've kind of always known. I was raised by an entrepreneur, and, at the age, she wasn't always an entrepreneur, but at the age of 8, I was training people that were 10 to 12 to 13 years older than me to use cash registers. And at the age of 15, I was running our retail store. And, again, training people like double my age and running almost the entire business on my own. And so I think it was just kind of something that was natural for me. Like, I've never been a rule breaker per se, but I've also always wanted to push the boundaries of what life looked like. So, in high school we had a dress code, and I would push those boundaries like crazy. And it's kind of just this spirit that I have inside of me that's not ever willing to settle for what I'm given. Like, I always want to know what more there is, what more I can do, how I can impact more people, how I can, bring the change to the world that I desire to see. So I almost wonder if, like, the entrepreneurial gene is, like, a little bit genetic. Like, there are some days when I have where I'm like, I would never choose this. Like, this is too crazy. It's too much. It's too hard. It's, all these things. But really, at the end of the day, I wouldn't not choose it. So.
That's awesome. Super powerful. For me, I am a firm believer that life is just too play it small and really be mediocre. And, either you go big or go home. That is my theme. Certainly, I'm in Texas right now, so everything is bigger in Texas. So going big is my theme. And, it's really about 2016. Go big is really my goal for that. So you promised us 3 tips and 3 things that people can do to really get into that bold action and play a really big game. So let's just jump right into them. What's that first tip that you had for us?
So the first thing I always teach any of my clients is that unless you can't go somewhere if you don't know what it looks like or where you're going, right? So the first step is always clarity. What do you want? What do you want it to look like on the other side? How do you want it to feel? And really getting that kind of North Star to keep you on track and keep you moving in the direction that you want to be going. If you're aimlessly wandering, you're not going to find success because you don't know where you're going, and then you have nowhere to go. So step 1 is absolutely clarity, knowing what you want, how you want to feel, where you're going, what it looks like, all of those things.
That's awesome. Lakina, I know that you are also really, really big on being clear about what you want and setting intentions, and I know that's a topic you're really passionate about as well.
Oh, yes, definitely. You have to know what you want in order to get to where you're going. And I believe many times that once people learn what they want, that's when the momentum really starts flowing. That's when they really are able to buy into the dream, and that's when they see action truly happening. So, Bree, please tell us, when you were speaking on this tip here, what was it that got you into that momentum space? What made you say, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to make it happen?
For me, almost every action in my entrepreneurial life has been ignited through my intuition. So it's my inner knowing that then translates into me creating the external knowing. It seems like a very kind of intangible thing, but for me, that's the only way that I know the truth in my life is, I feel it in my body. I am able to have conversations with my intuition to know what's truth and what's fear, and that's really what keeps me clear on where I'm going and what I'm doing and, how it's all going to play out in the end.
That's awesome, and I love it. And like you said, it's really about being intentional and not just waiting for life to happen and not just waiting to see, well, how is it going to work, but knowing that you actually get to write your own story, that you get to decide how the story is going to end. And, for many of us, and I know I'm one of those people, at some point in our life, we were unhappy, and maybe you're there now. Maybe you're at that rock bottom place, either physically, you're not healthy, your body is run down. Maybe it's financially that you need to create more money right away, right? There's bills that are coming in that you can't pay. Maybe it's in your relationship. You're in a broken or abusive relationship, and you're sitting and you're saying, okay, well, when and how is it going to get better? And you're just praying and waiting for it to happen. But the truth is that, when you're waiting and waiting and waiting, you're not doing anything. Your circumstances are not going to change. And if you want a change in your life, if there's something that you want to create a change in, whether you want to make your life better, right, you have to change. You have to change. The way you show up in the world changes, your habits change, and your skills change. And it's about being very intentional and knowing that, you get to pick what it looks like. And Bree, like you said, it's really not about just saying, okay, well, how is it going to work? But you get to decide how it's going to work. So when you start setting declarations and intentions and you get clear as to what you want it to look right, because so many people say, well, I want it to be better. What is better, right? Better is vague. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. How can you possibly attract better? Better is not a thing, right? So whatever we focus on is what we create and what expands. So if you want a change, don't focus on, well, I want to change. Focus on what it is you want to create, whether or not it's a 6-figure income, whether or not it's a new relationship, whether or not it's money, whatever it is, focus on that. So I love that. That's super powerful. And, let's jump right into the... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I always recommend having measurable goals. So if you, like you said, better isn't measurable. Better could be, getting up 1% happier tomorrow. That's technically better. But is is that what you want? Or, do you want to have a certain feeling when you're getting out of bed every morning? Or do you want to have a certain, action that you take every morning when you're getting out of bed? Or what does that look like? It needs to be a little bit more tangible than just better. So I totally agree with you there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And now that we're speaking on this, can you tell us about what step 2 is? Because, we're in a great conversation on step 1. Can you tell us a little bit more about what step 2 is?
So I always say step 2 is laser focus. So once you know what it looks like, you have to be there, be with it, spend time with it every single day. So I always liken this to, the sun beams its energy down on us every day, right? And for the most part, when it's diffused, it doesn't hurt us, it doesn't harm us, it doesn't burn us. Now there's exceptions. I definitely have gotten second-degree burns from being on the beach too long. But for the most part, the general span of the sun doesn't harm us. Now, when you take a magnifying glass and you focus all of the light of the sun into one particular space, that's when you start to create fire, right? So if you really want something to happen in your life, it's not just about knowing what it looks like, but it's about spending time in that place every single day. So for me, it looks like I have an affirmation on my bathroom mirror that lives there for 21 days or more, depending on what it is and what I'm looking to achieve in my life, and I spend time in it every single day. Not only do I read it every day, I feel it every day. What is it going to feel like when that is my truth? And then I also do visualization. What does it look like? And I play out the scenarios in my head over and over and over again, because when that happens, I want to be able to know definitively that it has happened and that I created it. So laser focus, you have to spend time with your vision every single day.
That is awesome, Bree.
we
just did another show on that the other day about being really into our affirmations, really feeling the affirmation, and then not only just saying it, but feeling it, seeing yourself do this, bringing power to it. Because, if you don't bring power to it, you're not going to really take ownership.
Totally.
It's just words to you. But when you bring power into it, when you give it meaning, when you give it action, when you give it momentum, that's when all of those things really come into play. You have to believe in these things. It can't just be lip service to you, because if it's lip service to you, who else is going to believe it? If you can't believe yourself, then who else can you trust? Who else can you believe? So you got to put that momentum behind it. Yeah.
I am the first person to say, I will tell you hands down, affirmations do not work. And I do them every single day. So just saying it doesn't work. If you don't believe it, if you don't embody it, a lot of times I'll actually put on like a Taylor Swift or Beyonce song and actually dance while reading my affirmation, so that I can, I envision it as literally infusing every molecule in my body in alignment with the affirmation, because I want it to permeate every ounce of my being. Like that kind of affirmation works. If you're just reading it to read it and do it, you might as well save yourself the time and just not, because it's not going to work.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of, and we talk about this a lot, and I believe very, very strongly in the power to speak things into existence, and that we can speak life into ourselves and reprogram our neurology. But it really is more than just, you can't just sit in front of a mirror and just think that, okay, my life is going to change. And a lot of people do that. You will put on these meditations, you'll recite these mantras, but you never go out and take action. And it's really almost think about it kind of like pre-gaming, right? So kind of cramming to study before a test. You have to do the preparation work, but then you have to go out and do the action too. For me, when I run a marathon, there's this plan that I have all these different things I do, right? So I get my nutrition ready, and I pack my gear bag, and I do my stretching exercises, and I carb load, right? Which means as a runner, we're eating food the entire day before. We're prepping and we're preparing our bodies for the race. So we're doing all these things to prepare for it, but it doesn't stop there, right? So once I do all that work to prepare for the marathon, that's not what's going to get me the finisher's medal. I need to actually show up and do the work. I need to actually run the 26.2 miles. And it's really the same thing. A lot of times in people's business, they want to do all the personal development. They want to do all the fun work because it is fun. And, creating a business is really fun. There's a lot of, cool stuff that you get to do. Right now, Keenan and I were both at conferences. We're both learning and growing. We love the personal development part. And yes, I do my meditations every day and I do my affirmations every day. And I do all those things, but I also go out and I practice the skills and habits, right? I also get up and, log in the hours and put in the time. And it's really true that if you want those affirmations to work, if you want all of the prepping to work, you still have to be in committed action and really have tunnel vision. And you talked about being really laser focused, right? Like the power of the sun to burn anything up. We are really powerful when we're focused. And we just look at and we seek after what we want and we go after it with all of our energy and all of our heart and all of our intention. And we truly can then manifest anything that we want. But it is, first speaking it and then acting in faith, knowing that what you've spoken has already created it. And that's where people often go wrong when using things like affirmations is, let's say I have six figures this year. I've made 6 figures in 2016. We'll say that out loud, but you're not going to win Powerball. That's not how you're getting your 6 figures, right? You're going to get your 6 figures by going out and doing the work. So I'm a firm believer in that as well.
Yeah, that's the other side of the coin for this part for me is the laser focus and knowing what you want and also taking daily bold action to move your needle closer to that every day. Even if you only do 2 things a day, make them big things and do them. Don't sit around talking about it or waiting for it or whatever. It's really about getting out into the world and actually just doing it. And the more you can go out and do it, I believe the more the universe will reward you with exactly what you're looking for. The other side of the coin to this step for me is that daily bold action.
Beautiful, beautiful. These are good steps. I love the fact that you're saying laser focus. So we still have a third step, right? So what comes after the laser focus?
I think this one might be my favorite because this I feel like is where I get to play in the world. The third step for me is presence. So I believe the longer we talk about a goal being outside of us or separate from us or external from who we are, the longer it will take for us to achieve that goal. The more that we can actually just step into being the person that's already achieved the goal, the sooner it will be realized in our present reality. So I love to do things. I call it playing adult dress up, right? Because when we were a little kid, I wanted to be a princess, so I dressed like a princess. Because if I were dressing like a princess, then I was a princess. So for whatever reason, we stopped doing this as an adult. I have last year went car shopping with a friend. I was not even in the market for a car. I knew I wanted a different car, but I was not in the market for a car. Went car shopping, and we test drove Ferraris and Audis and Mercedes and all sorts of crazy cars that I would never buy. I'm not interested in cars like that. Literally 6 weeks later, I had a brand new Lexus. So there was something for me about putting myself in, even if I was playing pretend, putting myself in the situation and aligning my current reality with what I wanted in the future that brought that future point closer to my present. So last year, I've also been ready to meet my my other whole, my life partner. And so last year, a girlfriend took me engagement ring shopping. Because the more I can feel now in the present moment how I want my life to feel in the future, the sooner my future will happen.
Yeah, that's really powerful. It really is, and we talked a little bit about this in step 2 as well. It really is about going out believing that what you've spoken is already in existence. It's already happening. You're already in the process of receiving it. And meditating and really how are you going to feel when you receive it is a really powerful way to make it come faster. It's a phenomenal exercise and activity, and we definitely encourage you to do that on a regular basis. You know,
and
I
love the meditation piece, and I love to take it that step further of like how can I physically go out and have like this visceral experience of it? Like what does that look like? Even little things like the future Bree has a housekeeper. Like I made a list of all the things of like what future Bree's life looks like. And there were a ton of things on there where I was like, why am I waiting to experience this in the future? You know, getting a housekeeper it's not a big step. Like it's not a big thing. Why am I waiting to do this until some, you know, undetermined point in time when I'm quote unquote more successful? Like I could just get a housekeeper now and be the future version of myself in the present moment. So I love meditation and I love visualizations, but there's something about the visceral physical experience of bringing that into your present moment as well.
Wow. That is a very good point. That's a very good point. I love your piece about playing adult dress-up. That was very cool, you know. But people think about it in that perspective about how simple and easy it was when we were children, they might actually put a little bit more fun and more emphasis. It doesn't always have to be the worst thing that we dread. These things can be fun. These things, manifesting your future is fun. Manifesting who you want to be should be fun because this is who you're supposed to be. This is supposed to be your ideal person. So why shouldn't it be fun? It shouldn't. I personally believe it's one of the most positive things in the world. So I love that point from you, Ms. Bree.
Thank you. I think it's the most fun piece of it all. Like, you know, when my girlfriend took me engagement ring shopping, we had a brilliant day where we both lived as if it was, you know, 3 years in the future. And so we went out for brunch, you know, as we would in 3 years. And we were like, we pretended to be that person, but it wasn't playing pretend. We were actually that person. And so I love playing with stuff like this because you can get as creative as you want. And you can try stuff on. You can see how it would feel. And then maybe at the end of the day, you don't like how it feels, and you don't have to go through the 3 years of getting to that point and realize, oh, this isn't what I wanted after all.
That's awesome. I love how you said, you know, you are already that person. And, you know, time, you know, and we obviously measure things in time, right? But the truth is that time, the universe is so expansive that time is really not real. It's something we've used, a measurement system we've created, but we are that person. You know, we are the person we were in the past. We are the person we are now, and we are the person who we want to create in the future. And everything we want to manifest, that already exists. And it's really about claiming what is rightfully ours. So I love that. And, you know, we're at the point where we want to start wrapping down our call for this evening. Is there anything that you can summarize, a takeaway for our audience for tonight?
I think the biggest thing is, you know, there's no dream too big. And whatever you want is possible. The fact that it exists in your mind means that it is possible. It's just, you know, getting through the clarity piece, really making it a priority in your life and having some fun with it. You know, I took a step back from my business, honestly, for the last month or so because I felt like I was squeezing the life out of it. And second I started to have fun with it, I have made more money in the last 2 weeks than I did in the entire last quarter. So really, like, have fun with this stuff and let it be light and play with it. And whatever you want is yours. You just have to, you know, believe it and be diligent enough about getting it.
That's so powerful and such amazing advice. Bree, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, really, the 3 tips you gave us are really phenomenal, and certainly anyone who follows them is really going to set themselves up for some pretty big success in 2016.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. I'm super grateful. This is my first podcast of the year, and I'm just really, really grateful and excited to be with you.
Yeah, it was our privilege and pleasure, absolutely. Akeen, is there anything you want to add before we close our call down for this evening?
Oh, yes. First off, thank you so much, Marie, for being on. And, of course, if you resonated with anything that Bree said tonight, you definitely can check this podcast out on Change Your Minds Online. You can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Tuned In, and, of course, our YouTube channel. So please come over and get your podcast today.
Well, thank you so much. I always end our call in the same way and just let our listeners know, we're so grateful for you. We love you. Thank you for letting us be part of your journey. And reach out to us. Let us know what you want us to cover in 2016. Akeen and I are putting together all of our topics, and we will touch upon whatever it is that you want us to. So we love you. God bless, and make it a really powerful week. And we will be with you on Sunday for our Empowering Faith series. Actually, Akina will be with you. I will be in the airplane, so pray for my traveling mercies. We'll be heading back to New Jersey during the call. But Akina will be with you, and we have an amazing guest as well. So I will see everyone on our Empowering Mindset call on Tuesday night. Make it a great week, everybody. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone.